500-1 here. Welcome to another edition of the Sled Shed. This is kind of an emergency episode. As most of you know, I blew out a heat exchanger last weekend there up at NEPA. We put a stud through the heat exchanger. So here's the new one. That's right, we're going to put it in. I have everything out already, so what we're going to do is I can tell you this, the way it goes in, just do everything backwards, and that's the way it comes out. So without further ado, let's get to it because this is going to be a job.
Okay, so this is the rear of the bulkhead, and this is where it's going to go in at. We're going to rivet this fast, and then we're going to go up top and connect our hoses. Show you these. These are the rivets that go in. They're pretty nasty, and I'd say if you don't have an air riveter, you're gonna have a hard time. All right, so she's all in and riveted up. Now we'll go up top, hook up the radiator hoses, and then the fun part, putting the track, the axle, and the skid in. So now we're up top, and down here under our hoses, there's our two connectors going in. So put these on. Then we'll have to put the clamps on. Okay, so we got our hoses hooked up. Alright, not sure if you can see it down there or not, but the bearing on the PTO side on the axle is now in and bolted up. The track is in, the axle's in. Now we'll go over to the other side, put the chain and the gears in and chain case cover on, and we'll put oil on that. Okay, our chain and gears are in. Put the chain case cover on, fill her up with fluid. Chain case is on, chain is adjusted, and fluids are put back in. So now we go down underneath and start the heavy work. Alright, so we have the front of our skid bolted up. And I was asked this question a couple months ago, and I was unable to answer it because we got backed up doing a project. Somebody asked me, how do you get these bowl holes to line up? And diesel. So what you got to do first is these springs have to be unhooked, okay? And then you can move this up or down, wherever you want. So you start jacking this up. And with it dropped all the way down, it's going to be close once it gets up here. Okay, so we're just about in line. If we push on this, hey, look at there. There it is. So what we're going to do, get our bolts. Push up on this just a little bit. With the spring tension off, it's not hard at all. And there you go. So simple as that. But these springs have to be unhooked so you can move your whole suspension system around down you got to squash it as far down as you can get it, and then lift up with your jack, and then lift up just a little bit, and your hole's lined right up. All right, so our skid's in, our track's on, our axle's in, everything's bolted up. Now we got to go up front, put the secondary back on, and the exhaust, and after that we can start it up and burp the antifreeze bottle, make sure everything's full there so we don't overheat, and we can take her out for a test drive. Okay, our secondary's back on, our belt's on, and now we move on to the exhaust. Okay, so everything's in, buttoned up, greased. That's one thing I forgot, and I'm going to tell you this: don't forget the axle bearing. When you put the axle back in and you put the cover back on, make sure you re-grease that, because it's going to be low on grease because you have it out. Things are going to get wiped off. I almost forgot it, so you know, keep in mind when you put that back in, make sure you have that greased up real good, because if it's dry, then it ain't going to last long, and then you're going to be replacing the bearing and taking the axle back out. So let's start this up and see what it does. See if we can't get that to burp. Okay, I guess not. Well, there it did just a little bit. I guess I'm gonna have to take it out and try it, but there it is. It's done. It took me 2.5, almost 3 hours to do all that. So just so you know, it's a job, and it's working non-stop. So okay, there you go. So that's it for this week. Make sure you join us for episode 10, when we're going to go over everything that we ever put on this in the last episodes, and see how they're working out, so that way you guys know. And when you're out there, make sure you're taking pictures, post them on Sled Freak, and if I don't see you before, we'll see you out in the trail.